Another kick-ass time to talk sports. Welcome to Kicking It with NairaBet. My name is Tracy Chappelle, the one you call Swore. It would have been a most amazing time to start talking about the clubs that did us good over the weekend and over the week, but we started this week with a very, very sad news. The fact that Kobe Bryant, the Mamba, is gone. UV, AY, what to do?
The only thing I can say is I feel for the wife and the 3 children left behind, because sometimes the dead person himself is gone. They feel no pain. It's the people left behind. So can only pray for God to just give them, to comfort them. 3 children. I think she's got a 7-month-old child as well.
Yep.
Terrible news. Disaster of almighty proportions. When I now saw there were 9 people, there was a man, his wife, the child. So they left 2 other children behind. How would those 2 children be feeling? And some other people, just terrible news all around.
Tragedy is not something we all expect, but for someone, I mean, off camera, we're talking about the fact that you got to get your first jerseys and they were Kobe Bryant jerseys.
Yeah.
How did you feel getting to see that and knowing that it was not fake news?
Look, I had to go to bed early the other day, when the story broke, and I just felt like I would wake up and, it's probably in a critical condition or something like that. I would probably just have a twist in the story. But, Kobe meant so much for some of us who were not. I mean, I've never met Kobe before. Never been in 100 square miles from him. But the impact one person can have on the world is just amazing. Growing up on the streets of Uyo, what I knew as basketball was Kobe, right? So what we call Okrika in Nigeria, if you found 3 Okrika basketball jerseys, Kobe was going to be 2 of them.
Definitely.
So I didn't watch Jordan play. So Kobe is almost like the reference points for NBA for me. I knew Kobe, I knew Iverson, but Kobe was basketball. So how do you retire just 2 years before, and at 41, Kobe had everything to look forward to. So it's a bit of one of those ones you cannot quite wrap your head around, and I guess it's life, huh?
Life, man. I'm sure as more time plays out, we will definitely know the reasons why the helicopter had that crash and what was the main reasons why. So maybe we won't get that kind of loss. It seems like last year we had the Leicester City, and now this year we already kick off the new decade with someone very dear to our hearts, and not so much coming from Ronaldinho, another person that used to have a major hangout with Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant was a big fan of Barcelona. Apparently, we now definitely know that Valverde was not the problem at Barcelona. So, is it that the Messi magic is gone?
Messi magic is not gone. Messi is still a brilliant footballer, and obviously, we're talking about a player about decline. There's certain footballers I hate to use certain words for. I don't want to use the word decline, the word decline for Kante or for Ronaldo or for Messi, but the fact is they will not go forever. Ronaldo can never go up again. He's on the way down. Same with Messi. Do you understand what I mean? Mm-hmm. So there are games where Messi plays now, and it's like Messi's not on the pitch. It happens. 7 years ago, that would never happen. Mm. So Barcelona have had a few problems for a few years now. I don't think the problem is the coach. They still have a good squad. I don't know why people were calling for his sack here and there.
He was sleeping in the field now.
The 2 major disasters they had. The 2 major disasters they had were those 2 Champions League quarterfinals. Was it final?
Quarter and semis.
Quarter and semis, yeah.
Quarter and semis, yeah.
1 to Roma and 1 to Liverpool, where they led by 3-0. So for me, I wouldn't have sacked Valverde, because the new man has come in now. But do they think he's going to start winning like Pep was winning?
To have a manager leave a club when they're top in the table.
Yeah.
I mean, it says a lot. You have to be a really cold-hearted CEO to make that call. And I think when you make that call, you lose every bit of sympathy you can get from people like myself. I cannot have one bit of sympathy or empathy towards Barcelona. Everything that happens now, and I mean, not like they care about my choice anyway. Or my
but when Bartomeu do they said the guy was very incisive. They said the guy was on point.
Who said it? Who are the dates?
I mean, the Barcelona fans.
Where?
Agege,
Mushin.
Oh wow.
Badagry.
We are going to go there.
Timbuktu.
We are going to go there. Oh, wow.
But I think it's a bit harsh in the sense that you've got to value the opinion of people on social media, because this is how I guess this is how it works now. When people talk about the inflated TV rights in the Premier League, right? The TV rights trickle down to social media, right? You've got to realize that social media is not just the term. It's beyond the term. So the fans who are on social media have a direct input to what the clubs are making in revenue.
A way.
No. In a substantial way.
Okay.
Right. So I think it's a bit unfair to say.
But I can guarantee you, most of those people that are talking on social media are just keyboard warriors.
So they don't pay.
So it's like, are you saying
that if you don't pay for the club dues, if you don't pay, what's that, membership dues and what?
All that stuff. All that stuff.
You don't have the right to demand.
I have the right to say whatever I want to say as long as it's legal. Right? Mm-hmm. I have the right to say Buhari is not doing well. Mm-hmm. I have the right to say the governor of Lagos State is not doing his job. I have the right to say that, right? But it doesn't mean I'm right.
Doesn't mean you're right. But when people say that, what it automatically means is the fans who don't have the privilege to go to the stadium don't have a stake in the game. Well, they actually do. Because the reason the TV rights are inflated the way they are is because, for example, Sub-Saharan Africa holds a major amount of money that's paid to the Premier League. Mm-hmm. So those fans in the viewing centers paying their 100 naira, their 50 naira, it all trickles back to the Premier League directly. Mm-hmm. So that is, in a layman's term, the most.
I understand what you're saying, but at the end of the day, 50 million fans in the world cannot be deciding things. There's a structure. There's ways to do it.
Actually, before we just move on, the fans that actually on social media should have a greater say than the ones in the stadium, because that 90,000 people in the stadium.
If I pay £1,000 a year,
if
I pay £1,000 a year, what should I say?
Hold on a second. If I can add £10, go Arsenal Stadium, go sit down, watch match. You cannot tell me that somebody when we say sit down for like
there are 90,000 fans in the stadium. Do you agree? How much does stadium revenues make?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not the accountant. All I know is if I pay money, because
for example, Barcelona have the biggest stadium in Europe, in European football. Mm-hmm. They're still behind Man City and the rest. Or let them maybe not City. How much? Ridiculously expensive. Yes, I'm saying. But how far does this shift the needle in terms of revenue? It does. You know what? But TV rights is the name of the game.
You know, you're an accountant, right?
No, I'm just saying. I don't have a problem with what you say. I'm just saying.
I'm not saying ignore people on social media and stuff like that, but football fans these days just feel they have the God-given right to say whatever they want to say, and they want everyone to their own. But the main problem I have is, don't forget, the person in Agege that is going 50 naira, that's paying 50 naira to watch the viewing center and whatever, and the one in Mushiolosha, these people have adopted Barcelona. They chose to start watching Man United. They're not Spanish. These people are not English. The people claiming someone fighting and stabbing themselves in Lagos Island, in Adeliji. United does not recognize them. Do you understand what I'm saying?
They recognize only the
So they are the one. No, what I'm saying is they're not recognizing you because you're killing yourself over arguments about Arsenal and Manchester United, because that shit used to happen when I lived in Lagos Island.
Okay.
In the late 90s and stuff. You know, when the Kano and United rivalry was so high, Wenger and Ferguson, it led to people killing themselves. So they don't recognize you. Because you pay 59 supposed to be.
We're going to tie this out. See, go online, and for those of you watching right now, you just tell me who get your right to tell people why they say they're supposed to sack a coach. Those when we say they're for inside the stadium, or those like us when we say they watch out for viewing center, or on us. So whichever one you choose, just let us know. Tweet at us, use the hashtag Kicking It with NairaBet, and we will be right back. And if you're kicking it with us, that means you're kicking it with NairaBet. Welcome back. And it's all about that super sleep. It seems like for every era for football, we had Gerrard with the sleep. And now we have Kante with the sleep. And when they sleep, that means their career starts sleeping. Anyway, what do you have to say?
Luckily for Gerrard, he was actually at the end.
Yeah, it was at the end of his career with Liverpool, which cost them the title, which one of the best moments of my life. The day he slept.
So that was brilliant.
I think I must have had a Thanksgiving service in the church the next Sunday, because that was the moment they lost the league title, and I never thought in my lifetime I'll see them win the league. But unfortunately, they'll do it this season.
For real?
But, anyway, back to Kante.
Yeah.
The question was that people are asking, is it declining? And declining is the wrong word, but I don't think it's as omnipresent as it was 3-4 years ago, for instance.
Do you feel like he has peaked? Like,
of course he has peaked.
Peaked Kante now is the twilight of his career.
He's not the twilight of his career. He has peaked, he's reached, he can never get better. It can never get better for Kante. The main thing is the level he was from Leicester, Chelsea, World Cup. The only difference is that he didn't. If he kept at it for like 7 years, 8 years, that Ronaldo and Messi have been at it for like 12 years, or Lewandowski even.
He's done 4 years, yeah?
Yeah,
That level for a very, very, very long time.
Even though someone doesn't agree.
It's very rare that happens. Has he picked? Yes. Is he declining? Declining is the wrong word, but I don't think he's as omnipresent as he was. Before, you think Kante was 2 Kantes on the pitch.
Yep.
But now you see 1 Kante.
So when it comes to Kante, every time we say Kante right from time, the minute he burst into limelight, if he was in form, it was a title-winning team. Whether it was Leicester City, whether it was Chelsea, whether it was France. So do you feel like this Kante that we know now can function in a team where they don't win titles?
Well, it's a nice way to put it, but I feel like Kante has the sheer amount of games he has played, means that at some point in time there was bound to be those slight dips here and there, especially for a midfield player. There's such a demand on that role he plays, and any slight decline you're going to see it. If you're a centre back, right? If you're a centre back, like you're Virgil van Dijk, you could move players around and make sure that you're cushioned, you're covered. But Kante's role is quite the role. It's too exposed. If you're not pressing, if you're not the trigger to the press, you're gonna get found out. I feel like you don't quite feel like with him on the pitch, the opposition team doesn't have a chance anymore. But like Ayo put it quite rightly, I don't think decline is a word to use. I feel very strongly he needs a rest. Because the World Cup came back. Change of managers. That he's had 3 managers in 3 years. That is a factor also. You've got to put that in there. So I think one of the greatest midfielders in the last 10 years certainly. But the question is, will he walk into any European football team? Or he does as a starter. So maybe that is the clearest indication that he is quite the midfielder.
I think he will walk into the team based on reputation.
I think he walks.
Yeah, is it better than Casemiro really now?
I think he walks into Liverpool and plays
as
well.
Is it Fabinho now?
Yeah. Not as good in current form. Obviously it's hard to put a player beside a player in a title-winning team, a coronation basically.
Man for man, a Fabinho, a Casemiro.
I'm going for Kante. There's no way.
Kante will be my third choice out of those three right now.
Right now.
Yeah.
But if you have to pick for the long haul.
But in their pick, in their pick.
Oh, their pick, Kante.
Right. I
Kante. But my pick, I get that before. No be property. I had millions.
Right.
I had 100 million 3 years ago, but now I have 50 million. But you have 70 million.
I don't quite like that. That coinage, but hey, it's fine.
No, but that's what I'm trying to say.
You can say who first buy 9-year-old model.
9-year-old model.
So maybe Kante is the old model.
But the thing is, if you're saying at their peak, Zidane at his peak is better than, say, who is a great attacking midfielder right now? Better than De Bruyne.
Anybody.
But who would you pick in your team now, Zidane or De Bruyne?
Of course.
There you go.
That's stretching.
Yeah, I know, but that's the kind of someone that is slightly going down slightly.
We get there.
If we get into this,
you're the one holding it.
Okay, I can see the rumors.
That's just.
We need a woman in this set. I swear to God, because I'm not like this to
yeah, man.
No, we don't put woman here and then. Woman here.
No, we're good.
So it's balanced. I don't like this thing that you guys are doing. You guys are like ganging up on me. So quickly, if you want to be part of the conversation, jump on our social media platforms and feel free to air your view. As Kante expired, is he expired?
No, he's not expired.
Or is he somebody
that walk into Man United? I'll take him out.
Anybody can walk into Man United now. See, Rabiu and big brother, younger brother, my kid brother, my son, if you walk into Man United now,
how old is
and you take him, it's fine. Anyway, let's move on to something else. Somebody we thought had expired, Iheanacho. Suddenly he's being called the super sub, the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer of the 2020.
I love it. I love to say it. I love when players, are thrown a challenge and they take it on. Kelechi is that kind of player. Kelechi didn't seem like it took a bit of time to get to maybe appreciate the level he needs to be every single game to absolutely get the class. Because he's a solid player. Mm-hmm. We saw Kelechi and we thought we've got a JJ here, and all of a sudden,
cool finish as well. His
finishing is top. Had a great shot, had great positioning. He looked a player we hadn't had in quite a long time, and all of a sudden things, he plateaued almost, and it felt like he was stuck in a rut. But he's embraced the challenge of having a new manager. At some point, it looked nailed on he was going to leave Leicester. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But the way is common. I feel like if Vardy doesn't play and score, Kelechi is the next surest goal scorer they've got. And I think his finishing is amazing. But his finishing is amazing. When he strikes the ball, in my head, it makes 85%. It makes him contact. I think it's great. And to see him do what he's doing shows young players that if you don't quite appreciate the scale of the work you need to put in, you can tail off easily. But to see him come back is absolutely amazing.
So, Tranmere, they beat them 6-0. And there's a school of thought that believes that Ole Gunnar has turned the corner.
There's no corner.
I can't feel
You're not, so all of a sudden you're not so bad.
Oh, you're ginger.
I thought you were like...
No, listen, I always say the same thing. When I still believe David Moyes shouldn't have been sacked. Right? Because I still believe Ed Woodward fucked up his transfer window, fucked up a new man that was coming in and stuff. So it's not a case of me backing Ole. The same backing I'm giving Ole, I gave Mourinho. The same backing I gave LVG. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I'm a club man. It's a fair point, yeah.
But
I'm a club man.
the thing,
So it's not a corner. United definitely have some good players, right? So occasionally, if Rashford, Martial, Pogba, McTominay and whoever, if they put up their best game occasionally, they could tear apart. You know the way they play that City and 1-2-1, could have been fight. They could do it, right? The difference is they're not good enough to do it every week, right? So United will lose some games you don't expect them to lose, and then occasionally things change and then they'll go and win. United do not have enough good players in their squad. Facts. If you bring Pep Mourinho to coach this team,
is it Pep Mourinho?
Yeah, Pep Mourinho. This team would not go beyond 4th or 5th. This team would never win the league. Pep Mourinho, Jesus. Right?
That's reaching. But here's the thing, though. This is a question for you. Before we came here today, the last conversations we've been having, it has been all about Maguire is not trying to score any goals. Solid defender as they score. What's his face? Lingard, number 10. He has not scored any goals. Solid number 10s, they're supposed to score. So if they are scoring now, is that not a good reason for you to believe that? Maybe they can build on the momentum. Before
he answers, it's Tranmere, please.
I bet you I was going to say.
But you play what's in front of you.
I bet you I was going to say the exact same
so
thing.
don't.
It's Tranmere Rovers.
It's Tranmere Rovers.
You cannot
Maguire scored in the World Cup. Don't get me wrong.
You simply cannot analyze this. Don't we play Wolves or Chelsea next?
Wolves at Old Trafford. I'll be at that game actually, and then I'm traveling on. So
are you going to wear your jersey there?
I don't actually wear jerseys to Old Trafford anymore. I've not bought one for like 4 years.
He has not been proud.
I've not been. It's not even a pride. It's just more like the Glazers are just taking my money every time.
Okay.
Can you give me a face cap?
Don't do.
Right.
What's on head size? Extra large. So I mean, then after that is Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, which is going to be Chelsea play Leicester next, and after that game, I've been writing a lot of ifs and ifs and ifs in my tweets. I don't know if you saw my tweet
about. You mean the guy don't talk to David Lou?
Yeah, that's a good one. When I said after Chelsea drew Arsenal, I said if United win tomorrow against if United win against Burnley, I said, and that's a big if with this United team, then we'll cut the gap to 3 points. Chelsea play Leicester next. Anything could happen. United play Wolves. If United win and Chelsea lose, or even if both teams win, it will still be 3 points before the big game, United and Chelsea.
You just took us into it.
So, but that if
took us into it.
You know, after those if, you know, the next one that came was 4. So after the if came the 4.
Wow.
So 6 points. Imagine, so from thinking it was going to be 3 points, it's still 6 points. But at the same time, this weekend, this particular game now is Wolves, and then they play Leicester. Whatever happens, a big game at United.
And Leicester are back playing well. So
United and Chelsea. So that's when you can actually say, okay,
you've done the corner.
I think it's always temporary with this United team. The corner is always temporary. It's a short corner, you know, like those corners that you bend. That's not really.
Bro, see,
they don't bend fully.
Right, see, you take one corner. If it's one corner, you take just one.
Well,
anyone you can see, you just take it.
So judge after the Chelsea game. After the Chelsea game, it could be 9-point gap.
The Chelsea are not good themselves. I won't judge.
Yeah, I mean,
judge after if they win the Europa League, they turn the corner.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
If United beat Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, then I can say
no. Chelsea are not that.
Yeah, but Chelsea are rivals of all.
Guys, before you guys stretch this thing into permutations, so you started this permutation zone. I can't enter that Twilight Zone with you. I'm just going to throw this to you. It's Mourinho. It is Tottenham. We've seen what they've been doing up and down. Norwich, it was
Yeah.
just a stretch, and even in the EFL Cup, it was still a stretch.
Yeah.
Still have to replay some games actually.
The FA Cup.
So yeah, the FA Cup on that one. So I feel like, do you feel Mourinho's boys are setting up themselves to give the guy shuku shuku? So making it bad?
Football is a results game,
Uh-huh.
you know. So you can ask Barcelona, you know, they're passing more balls now. They tell you Cruyff is. They've got a new Cruyff. They haven't got the results. I feel football is a results game, more so with Mourinho.
Okay.
You know, so as long as they're getting the wins, the confidence, people underestimate the amount of the importance of having that feel-good factor around a football club. You know, more so one like Tottenham who've been, you know, dealt a high blow since Pochettino left. You know, for a team that Champions League final to be where they are, the fans certainly cannot feel good about that. Because for once they felt like, you know, we're finally mixing it up, you know, with the European elites. So we're probably at this level now. So to go back to where they are now, it's not great. You've got to almost treat that wound and heal it completely.
Yeah.
So what they're suffering now is, you know, a scar here and it peels off, and it's a bit medical. But
Doctor,
I feel like Mourinho is the right guy to do it.
Okay.
Get the results. It's gonna be rocky. They're gonna have a few blips. They're gonna have more blips. I don't think they'll make the top four. The squad is simply too far, you know, stretched to have the top four. But I feel like the cup competitions, the Champions League, if Kane comes back in at the right time, I feel those are the tournaments that could maybe just cement why Mourinho came to the club.
Yubi has told us what Kobe meant to him, so you can tell us who Kobe meant to you. Use the hashtag kicking it with NairaBet, and of course tell us if you feel like Mourinho is really going to be the guy that takes it to the next level, or maybe he's going to trump. Yes, I did that. He's going to trump. We'll be right back for the next one. Okay, we're kicking it with NairaBet, and this is the time we get to play our tickets. There are games popping up right and about this weekend and beyond. I'm going to start with Liverpool game. AY, talk to me. When you look at your crystal ball, especially when you know you have to get the odds, especially from the NairaBet website, what do you feel about the Liverpool-Southampton game?
you don't need to
Straight win. Let's move on.
Let's move on.
You don't need to have to be a genius.
Eyes on
to know
your
it's going
back.
to be You don't need to know that. But talking about odds, and you wouldn't get rich back in Liverpool either. So it's for betting purposes. It's you know what they call a pass.
A pass.
Yeah, for betting purposes, it's a pass for me. Liverpool at home, they're 1.20 to win. Funny enough, it's not actually that bad. I thought it was going to be like 1.04.
1.20. What's that?
Considering the
1.20.
fact that Southampton have been on back-to-back wins, they've not been doing bad.
So actually, so that maybe that's the slight respect they're giving them, because that game should be 1.04. Liverpool beating everybody black and blue against relegation threatened.
1.20. So
Yeah.
if you don't want to on that, how much is that?
But I'll still tell you if you want to add up for your ticket.
29 profit.
See,
So-
if I put 15 naira.
But if it's an accumulator, of course,
Is
the
that-
10 accumulator,
Yeah,
it's
not
a
bad.
decent one, because of course, if one team now lets your bet down, Liverpool at least 1.20. So
It's a
it's
short
one
game
game
on
left,
some
you still
level.
get paid. One game, one team lets your accumulator down. As long as you have 10 teams and the minimum odds is 1.20. So for that sake, you can put Liverpool in your accumulator, it's worth it.
Yeah, worth it actually.
How
But it's a
about-
straight win.
How about this?
4-0.
4-0. I'll put both teams score. GG. That's my bet. GG. For you, I'm going to throw this at you. Leicester City, Chelsea. What do you see?
I do Leicester. Obviously, two teams to score, both teams to score. GG is popular call
Okay.
on the show. I do Leicester to lead at half-time and Leicester to lead at full-time. Right.
But-
So both halves, Leicester to lead at both halves. You know, win both halves basically. That's how you say that.
Yeah, to win both halves.
Okay. It's not difficult at all. We have a scoreboard, so anybody that has it going, then you know is the boss in this house. So you know who you listen to when they give you predictions in this house.
me.
I like to think I'm a boss. I like to think.
I like to feel like they'll come for your social media.
I like to think so too. Back to you, AY. Arsenal, Burnley.
I mean, you see, this thing, sometimes Burnley are a horrible side. I dislike them, I detest them, I hate them, I despise them. I want them gone from the Premier League. No, they are coming to Old Trafford to just slap my mouth. I don't like them as a football club. I said it was the last episode we're here. They're horrible to play against. Their team, I think there must be a recruitment policy that you must be at least 6 foot 500 before
And you must be a cement pusher.
Yes, before they sign you, and you must be able to bite wire with your teeth or something. They're just hard as nails, and their manager, the way he speaks, I just like them. Anyway, ordinarily Arsenal should be too good for them, but you never know with Burnley. they just come up sometimes with formations and a particular play that frustrates your life.
Were you at home at the Millennium Stadium? Do you feel like Tottenham can take it this time from Manchester City?
Where's that? Where's that? The Millennium Stadium? Where's that?
I'm just saying, is it London? Is it London?
No, so I think you could never really you could not milk it enough. You know, that Pep Mourinho thing, you know, there's always a subplot to it. But, you know, there's just this one time, you know, you could give it to Pep. I feel like City are clearly, you know, they've got a better team clearly. You know, Jose doesn't have the Arsenal. It's funny to say Arsenal and Tottenham in the same sentence, but doesn't quite have the tools to do it at this point in time. But you know, you can never really put Mourinho away from a fight. Having said that, I still feel Pep would win. I still strongly think.
You feel Pep will win. You feel City will win.
City will win. Right. I think City will win.
City.
Right.
No.
City to win, straight win. I'd even say a double chance on City if Mourinho pulls a chestnut out of the fire.
So that's handicap.
Yeah.
The thing is,
that's a double chance.
It's Mourinho will go into that game, same tactics, men behind the ball, wait for 20 minutes. Cowardice again, as I called it the last time, and they will lose the game. Tottenham at 5 points. 5.75 to win the game. City at 1.50. That shows you
the story.
So much. They believe so much in City winning that game. Listen, you and I had a back and forth on the Liverpool Tottenham. I'm not saying Jose should go all guns blazing. I saw the way United played Liverpool. Biola and I were at the game, and United played men behind the ball. But when you get the ball, the good thing about counter-attacking football is when you get the ball and when you win the ball, you spring forward in support. But if you don't spring forward, because you're going to have limited time on the ball, if you win the ball and you are faffing around,
but you know,
they'll win the ball back.
Tottenham should have been Liverpool.
If my grandmother, if my
how convenient are you actually took us down
memory?
You know, no, down a permutations path. Oh, yeah. He's the same person who says if my mother was.
No, but it's true though. No, I'm just saying to you, he will go into that game, same tactics. I'm not saying he will not win, but
I feel like you go into games with that tactic and. With the aim to win.
Of course. With the aim to win.
Yeah.
But the thing is,
do you really expect Tottenham to go out there and...
I don't... Did you just listen to what I said? Did you just listen to what I said? What I said is, you sit back, right? You sit back. It's fine to sit back.
Okay.
But when you get the ball...
You have to spring.
But
you don't have the Sissoko's of the world now. Isn't that what you have used?
But we just said Spurs have got a better squad than this and that, and they should be fourth and they should be this.
They started getting injuries now.
Well, injuries are part of football, I'm afraid. Okay. You have to spring forward. Well, a typical example, United are rubbish, so I'm not trying to compare United as Spurs and whatever. But wait, quickly, before you look at the goal Rashford scored, I think United only had 2 chances against Liverpool. Look at that game, right? And when that James got the ball, look at men flooding forward.
But they still got paid.
We drew. We drew at Old Trafford.
Got paid.
I mean, United at Liverpool, United were rubbish and Liverpool deservedly won the game. That's not the point. I'm not comparing things, but I'm telling you, if you want to get joy against Liverpool, Mourinho will say it, you have to be compact. You don't play all guns blazing. You can't. But teams that have even come close. Look at Inter Milan Barcelona years ago. Do you remember that game when they won 3-1? Not the first leg, not the second leg.
The first leg.
The first leg.
Maicon scored a goal.
Yeah, Maicon scored a goal. Barcelona had all the ball, but what happened whenever Inter Milan got the ball?
But you've got to have the players to do it.
I mean,
you
don't have the precision.
You don't have the players to do it.
You sit back and you just hope for the best.
So then Mourinho should just give up then.
So call it.
Is that what we're saying?
Please,
no, you can't just give up.
Guys, you have to call it.
So
what are you calling?
I mean, City all day long.
Oh, City will win. City will win. But you know, Jose is Jose. He could pull a. So I'd do a double chance in case Jose pulls a.
So City or you want to go City or Spurs?
City to win
or City to draw?
City to win or draw. That's
okay, City to win or draw.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel like that's a safe bet. That's a very safe bet.
Straight win. Yeah. Handicap -1, so minimum 2 goals.
Don't be mean. Okay, we'll take this one to Wolves. Wolves, they almost won.
United 5-0.
You didn't even win.
No way. What was that?
They are going
to Old Trafford.
Is that Old Trafford?
Yeah.
I think United have better playing away from home. So the home thing United doesn't really work. I feel like Wolves were really hard done by. I think the pace of Traore would be too much to deal with. I don't think they've got a left back who could, obviously Brandon Williams does fair enough decent job. He looks like a great kid. I just feel like the disappointment to lose to Liverpool after having a great game. I think they've come closest to actually beating Liverpool.
That's another thing.
Yeah.
United have come closest.
Yeah, I mean,
scored and considered in the last minute.
Statistical terms, yeah.
But go and look at that game. Wolves as well. They sprang forward. They always had a threat.
Anybody to beat Liverpool needs to have that
you need to have a threat, because if you don't have that threat up front, they'll press on and get the ball.
So guys, I mean, we can talk all day, but final prediction.
Final prediction: United Wolves. United at 2.10, Wolves at 3.40, and the draw is 3.40.
What are you feeling like?
Honestly, I'm a United fan, so I always bet with my heart. That's why I'm not betting. That's why sometimes people say remove United from your bets. As a sensible person, I'll think a draw. Wolves or a draw.
Okay.
Probably the sensible.
Yeah.
Are you going with the
bet.
pragmatic?
However, my red tinted glasses will
Which
say
we don't want anyway. Just
which United,
making sure it's not reading from United website.
Yeah, check well.
United to win. But I think United could actually do it. So
that's going to be United. But I think he makes a great call: a draw or Wolves to win. If you want to go for the kill, Wolves to win. If you want to play the safe bet, I think a double chance on Wolves is the call to
but
make.
that's United to win. That's my bet.
Oh, that's going to change, huh?
Okay, so he says United to win, and you say what?
Double chance on Wolves.
Double chance on Wolves. And I'll tell you over 2.5, because I feel like people are generous to dash people goals, and Wolves is the team to dash them. And there you have it. If you have other predictions, go on our Twitter at Kicking It with NairaBet and follow up, have your conversations with us, and we'll see how to parley with you. Thank you so much, guys, for being part of the conversation. I will
Thank
say
you
this.
for hosting us today.
I will say this because I always like to say it, and I'm going to say, Wako!